Mama Yemi's diamond rings caught the light as she slammed her palm on the glass table. The whole banquet hall went silent. Waiters froze mid-step. Cameras that had been flashing now paused, like even the phones were scared to record what was happening. Across the table sat the groom, Ao. He did not flinch. He did not beg. He simply looked at Mama Yemi with calm eyes, the kind of calm that made people uncomfortable. Adesina, the bride, sat beside him in a towering gele and a heavy white gown that looked like it cost more than some people's houses. Her lips were shaking. Her eyes were wide, not from love, but from fear. Mama Yemi leaned forward, her voice cutting like a knife. "You think you can disgrace me in my own hall," she hissed, "after everything I paid for you?" Ao's voice was quiet, but it traveled through the room like thunder. "You did not pay for me," he said. "You paid for your own trap." A gasp rose from the guests. Mama Yemi's face turned hard, like stone. "What did you just say?" Ao reached into his inner suit pocket and pulled out a brown envelope. He placed it on the table gently, like it was something holy. Mama Yemi stared at it. Somebody in the crowd whispered, "What is that?" Adesina's breath caught. Her hands tightened around the armrest of her chair. Then an old man stood up from the front row, Baba Femi, one of the elders of Badagry. His walking stick shook as he rose, but his voice was strong. "Mama Yemi," he said, slowly. "Do you remember Olamide?" Mama Yemi's eyes flashed. The name hit the air like lightning. Ao stood up at last, still calm, still controlled. He turned to face the guests, the rich, the proud, the gossip lovers who had come to eat food and watch a powerful family show off. But now, the show had changed. Ao spoke again. "My name is Ao Olamide." The hall exploded into loud murmurs. Some people stood. Some people covered their mouths. Some pulled out phones again, recording with shaky hands. Mama Yemi's smile tried to form, but it looked fake, like a mask, slipping. "You're lying," she said quickly. "That man is dead. His family is finished." Ao's eyes did not move. "He is dead," Ao agreed. "Because you killed him." The words were so sharp that Adesina let out a small cry. Mama Yemi's head snapped toward her daughter. "Shut up," Mama Yemi whispered harshly, but her voice was trembling now. Ao lifted the brown envelope slightly. "Inside this envelope," he said, "are copies of land documents, forged papers, and the original documents you buried." Mama Yemi's throat moved like she swallowed a stone. Then Ao looked at Adesina, not with romance, not with softness, but with a strange kind of pity. "I did not come here to be your toy," he said to her. "I came here to take back what was stolen." Adesina's eyes filled with tears. For the first time in her life, she looked small. Mama Yemi's voice rose again, loud and shaking. "Security!" Two large men in black suits started moving forward. But Baba Femi lifted his hand. "Stop!" he shouted. The security men hesitated, because even Mama Yemi feared Baba Femi's words. In Badagry, elders carried a kind of power money could not buy. Baba Femi's eyes were sad as he looked at Mama Yemi. "You thought you could erase a whole family," he said, "but truth has legs. It can walk back." Ao turned back to Mama Yemi. "Today," he said, "you will not use money to silence people." Mama Yemi's hand shook as she reached for her phone. Her nails were painted gold, her wristwatch was expensive. But at that moment, she looked like a woman standing on sand, watching the ocean rise. Adesina grabbed Ao's sleeve with trembling fingers. "Ao," she whispered, "please, what is happening?" Ao slowly removed her hand from his sleeve. "Adesina," he said softly, "your mother bought a husband for you. But she unknowingly bought her own judgment." Mama Yemi's voice cracked into a scream. "You ungrateful boy. I picked you from the dirt. I gave you a name." Ao's eyes sharpened. "No," he said. "You picked me because you thought I was weak." Then he leaned closer, just enough for her to hear, but still loud enough to scare the room. "You wanted a husband you could control. A husband that would bow to your daughter. A husband that would protect your image." He tapped the envelope lightly. "But I came with a plan." Mama Yemi's face twisted with rage. Arrest him! She screamed again. He's a fraud. He's a thief. But Baba Femi's stick hit the floor. Bam! The sound silenced everyone again. Baba Femi looked around at the guests. Everybody here knows, he said, that Mama Demi has done things nobody dares to speak about, but now the past has returned. Ao took a slow breath. Then he spoke the words that made the room feel colder. I have already submitted evidence, he said, not just to elders, not just to gossipers, to the authorities. Mama Yemi's eyes widened. What? Ao nodded once. Before I wore this suit, he said, before I stood at this altar, I made sure the truth reached where money cannot block it. Mama Yemi staggered back, hitting her chair. For a second, the feared billionaire woman looked scared. Adesina stood up, shaking. Mummy, what did you do? She cried. Mama Yemi slapped the table again. Sit down, she barked. But Adesina did not sit. Something inside her was breaking. Something she had never felt before. Fear. Then, from the back of the hall, a man in plain clothes pushed through the crowd. His eyes were sharp. His voice was firm. Excuse me, he said. We're looking for Mama Yemi. The entire hall froze again. Mama Yemi's mouth opened, but no words came out. Ao stepped back, giving space like he had been waiting for this moment. The man held up an official file folder. Mama Yemi, he said, you have been summoned for questioning regarding land fraud, forgery, and the case of late Mr. Station. Olamide. A loud cry burst from Adesina's throat. Guests started shouting. Phones rose higher. Someone yelled, It's true. It's true. Mama Yemi turned sharply to Ao, her eyes burning. You planned this, she whispered. Ao looked back at her, calm like the sea before a storm. Yes, he said. And it has only started. The man in plain clothes stepped forward. Mama Yemi, he repeated, you need to come with us now. Mama Yemi's hands trembled as she stood. Her expensive wrapper and blouse suddenly looked heavy on her body, like they were made of guilt. She tried to smile, tried to act strong, but her voice came out thin. This is nonsense, she said. Do you know who I am? The man did not blink. Yes, he said. That's why we're here. Ao watched her, silent. Adesina reached for her mother. Mummy, please, she sobbed. Mama Yemi pulled away from her daughter's touch, like it burned. Then she hissed at Ao, her face close to his. You think you've won, she whispered. You don't know what I can do. Ao did not raise his voice. I know exactly what you can do, he answered. That is why I came prepared. Mama Yemi's eyes narrowed. And right there, in front of the altar, she did something nobody expected. She smiled. Not a warm smile, a dangerous one. Then she whispered a single sentence that made Ao's calm face tighten for the first time. If you bring me down, she said, I will take someone you love with me. Ao's eyes darkened. Adesina froze, staring at her mother like she was seeing her for the first time. The hall buzzed with fear, and the man in plain clothes stepped closer, ready to escort Mama Yemi out. But Ao didn't move. He simply stared at Mama Yemi like he was trying to decide something deep. Then he spoke, low and deadly. You just proved, Ao said, that you are still the same woman. Mama Yemi's smile grew wider. And as the officers moved in, Ao's phone suddenly buzzed in his pocket. He checked the screen. His face changed. Not fear, shock, because the message on his phone had only 4 words. She has been taken. Ao's breath stopped. He looked up sharply, and his eyes locked on Adesina, who was now trembling like a leaf in wind, because she knew the she in that message was her. Ao's phone slipped from his hand and hit the marble floor. The sound was small, but it felt louder than the screams that followed. Adesina staggered backward. What do you mean, taken? She whispered, her voice thin and broken. Mama Yemi stopped smiling. For the first time since the wedding began, real fear flashed across her face. The officers moved closer to her, but Baba Femi raised his hand again. "Wait," the old man said. "Let us hear the truth before blood spills." Ayo bent slowly, picked up his phone, and read the message again. "She has been taken, unknown number." He swallowed hard. Then he looked at Mama Yemi. "You said you would take someone I love," he said quietly. "But you don't even know who I love." Mama Yemi's eyes darted around the hall, calculating, measuring, planning. "Don't be foolish," she snapped. "You are not the only one with enemies." Adesina shook her head, tears streaming. "Mummy, stop it," she cried. "Please. This is not a game anymore." Mama Yemi turned sharply to her daughter. "Be quiet," she said. "You don't understand power." Ayo stepped forward, his voice calm but heavy. "I understand power very well," he said. "I grew up watching you abuse it." The hall buzzed with whispers again. The officers exchanged looks. One of them spoke into his radio softly. Baba Femi leaned on his walking stick. "Ayo," he said gently. "Tell us what you know." Ayo took a breath. "Before today," he said, "I lived quietly. I worked as a cleaner. I kept my head down, but I was never alone." He looked toward the door. "There are people who know my story. People who helped me gather the truth." Mama Yemi laughed suddenly, sharp and bitter. "You think those people can save you?" she said. "Money bends men." Ayo's eyes hardened. "My father believed that once," he said. "It killed him." The room went quiet. Adesina hugged herself, shaking. "Mummy, did you really kill his father?" she whispered. Mama Yemi's lips tightened. "I did what was necessary," she said coldly. "The world belongs to the bold." Adesina cried out. "That is not boldness. That is evil." Mama Yemi slapped her. The sound echoed. Gasps filled the hall. Adesina fell back into her chair, stunned. Ayo moved instantly. "Do not touch her again," he said. Mama Yemi turned to him, rage blazing. "You forget yourself," she snarled. "You are nothing in this house." Ayo looked around the hall, the gold, the lights, the watching eyes. "Then why are you afraid?" he asked. Mama Yemi froze. Outside, sirens wailed faintly, growing closer. One of the officers stepped forward again. "Mama Yemi," he said, "you need to come with us now." She laughed again, but her laugh shook. "You cannot arrest me in front of all these people," she said. "Do you know how many lives I control?" The officer's voice was firm. "Today, none." Ayo turned to Adesina. "Listen to me," he said softly. "If anything happens to you, everything ends today." Adesina looked at him, confused and scared. "Why do you care?" she asked. "You married me to destroy us." Ayo shook his head. "I married you to expose the truth," he said. "But I will not let you be sacrificed for your mother's sins." Mama Yemi screamed. "You think you are her savior," she yelled. "She is spoiled because I made her strong." Ayo looked at Adesina. "She is spoiled because she was never taught consequence," he said. The sirens were loud now. Mama Yemi's phone buzzed. She glanced at it. Her face changed, just slightly, but Ayo saw it. "What is it?" he asked. Mama Yemi lifted her chin. "Nothing," she said. But Baba Femi's eyes narrowed. "Answer the boy," the elder said. "Or truth will answer for you." Mama Yemi hesitated. Then she spoke, slow and sharp. "The girl is safe," she said. "For now." Adesina screamed. "Where am I supposed to be?" she cried. "I am right here." Mama Yemi did not look at her. "She is not talking about you," Baba Femi said quietly. Ayo's chest tightened. "Who then?" he demanded. Mama Yemi smiled again, that same dangerous smile. "The one you truly love," she said. "The one you hid so carefully." Ayo's calm finally cracked. "Say her name," he said. Mama Yemi leaned closer. "Your mother," she whispered. The words slammed into Ayo like a blow. The hall erupted in chaos. "No," Ayo shouted. Baba Femi staggered. "Yemi," the elder said, shaken. You crossed a line. Mama Yemi shrugged. She crossed mine first by giving birth to Olamide, she said. Ayo's hands clenched. Where is she? He demanded. Mama Yemi laughed softly. That depends, she said. Do you want justice? Or do you want your mother alive? The officers moved to grab her, but Mama Yemi raised her voice. Touch me, she warned, and the old woman dies. Everyone froze. Adesina dropped to her knees, sobbing. Mummy, please, she begged. Please stop this. Mama Yemi looked down at her daughter. This is the cost of power, she said. Watch and learn. Ayo stepped forward slowly. You always thought money made you untouchable, he said. But today, you have shown the world who you are. Mama Yemi smiled wider. And today, she replied, you must choose. Ayo's phone buzzed again, another message. He opened it. This time, there was a picture. An old woman, his mother blindfolded, sitting on a cold floor, alive. For now, Ayo's knees weakened. The officer spoke urgently. We can't let her control this. Baba Femi's voice shook. Ayo, think carefully. Mama Yemi whispered. Sweet and deadly. Withdraw the evidence, she said. Or bury your mother. Ayo closed his eyes. The hall held its breath. And when he opened them again, his voice was steady. You made a mistake, he said. Mama Yemi frowned. What mistake? Ayo lifted his head. You assumed, he said, that I came alone. Mama Yemi's smile faded. Outside, the sirens stopped suddenly. Then, a loud explosion shook the ground. The lights flickered. People screamed, and the hall plunged into darkness. Darkness swallowed the hall. Women screamed. Glass shattered. Someone fell and cried out in pain. Stay down, a voice shouted. Emergency lights flickered on, painting the room in red shadows. Smoke drifted near the ceiling. The grand wedding hall, once full of pride and laughter, now looked like a battlefield. Ayo stood still. His heart was racing, but his mind was clear. Mama Yemi grabbed Adesina's arm. Move, she barked. Adesina pulled away, crying, No, I won't follow you anymore. Mama Yemi raised her hand to slap again. But Ayo caught her wrist mid-air. The room went silent. Slowly, heads turned. Mama Yemi stared at him in shock. You dare touch me, she hissed. Ayo released her hand and stepped back. I dare stop you, he said. That ends today. Footsteps thundered from outside. Heavy boots. Many of them. The doors burst open. Men in black rushed in, not police. Their movements were sharp and trained. Mama Yemi's eyes widened. That wasn't supposed to happen, she whispered. A tall man stepped forward. Madam Yemi, he said calmly. This place is secured. Baba Femi stared at the men. Who are you people? The elder demanded. The tall man nodded respectfully. Private investigators, he said. Working on a long-buried case. All eyes turned to Ayo. Adesina looked at him like she was seeing him for the first time. You did this? She whispered. Ayo nodded once. My father taught me one thing before he died, Ayo said. Never fight power with noise. Fight it with patience. Mama Yemi's face twisted with rage. You think this saves you? She shouted. Your mother is still in my hands. Ayo looked at the tall man. The man tapped his earpiece. Update, he said. A pause. Then his eyes lifted. We have located the woman, he said. She is alive. Ayo's breath shook. Mama Yemi staggered. No, that's not possible. She was moved an hour ago, the man continued. Your men panicked. Mama Yemi screamed. Liars! She turned and tried to run, but officers closed in fast. They grabbed her arms. She fought wildly, kicking and shouting. Let go of me, she screamed. Do you know who I am? Ayo stepped closer. I know exactly who you are, he said, and so does the world now. Adesina collapsed into a chair, sobbing. My whole life was a lie, she cried. Everything I touched was bought. Ayo looked at her, his voice softer now. Then let this be the first thing you face without money. Mama Yemi was dragged toward the exit, still shouting curses. This is not over, Ayo, she screamed. I will destroy you. Ayo did not reply. He was already walking away. Outside, the night air was heavy. Police cars lined the street. Cameras flashed. News vans had arrived. Mama Yemi was pushed into a vehicle. Just before the door shut, she locked eyes with Ayo. Her voice dropped low. "You may win today," she said. "But blood always answers blood." The door slammed. The car drove off. Ayo stood still, watching the taillights disappear. Behind him, Adesina stepped closer. "What happens to me now?" she asked quietly. Ayo turned. "That depends," he said, "on who you choose to become." She swallowed. "I don't know how to live without control," she admitted. Ayo nodded. "Neither did I," he said. "Until everything was taken." Sirens faded into the distance. Baba Femi walked up beside Ayo. "You have shaken Badagry tonight," the elder said. "But storms bring consequences." Ayo's phone buzzed again. He checked it. Another message. "She is safe. Bringing her home." Ayo closed his eyes. Relief washed over him, but only for a moment, because the next message came instantly. "Mama Yemi is not alone. Some files are missing." Ayo's jaw tightened. Baba Femi saw his face change. "What is it, my son?" Ayo looked back toward the city lights. "The truth is bigger than her," he said, "and it's not finished yet." Behind them, Adesina listened silently, and for the first time in her life, she felt fear, not of punishment, but of what she might discover next. Morning came slowly over Badagry. The sun rose from the water like nothing had happened the night before. Fishermen pushed their boats into the sea. Traders opened their stalls. Life moved on, calm and normal, but inside Ayo's chest, nothing was calm. He stood on the balcony of a quiet guest house overlooking the lagoon, his hands gripping the rail. The cool breeze touched his face, but it could not cool the fire in his thoughts. Mama Yemi had been taken away. His mother was safe, yet something still felt wrong. Behind him, the door opened softly. Adesina stepped out. She no longer wore fine clothes or jewelry. She wore a simple dress, flat sandals, and her hair was tied back plainly. She looked smaller, quieter, like someone who had woken up in a strange life. "I couldn't sleep," she said. Ayo did not turn. Neither could I. There was a long silence between them. Then Adesina spoke again, her voice trembling. "They say my mother owns half of Badagry," she said. "But today, people look at me like I'm empty." Ayo finally turned to face her. "That is what happens when power disappears overnight," he said. "You begin to see what is real." Adesina swallowed. "I don't know who I am without her money," she admitted. "Without her name." Ayo studied her carefully. "For years," he said, "I knew exactly who I was, without money. I was nothing to people. Invisible." She lowered her head. "I treated people badly," she whispered. "I thought respect could be bought." "Ika." Ayo nodded slowly. "My father once said something," he said. "He said money is loud, but character speaks quietly." Adesina wiped her eyes. "I don't want to be like her," she said. Ayo did not answer immediately. Instead, he walked back into the room and picked up a thick file from the table. Inside were documents, old land records, court papers, letters, and photographs. He handed it to her. "Read," he said. Adesina opened it slowly. Her hands shook as she saw her mother's name, again and again, attached to lies, forged signatures, stolen lands, and destroyed families. "Oh God," she whispered. "This is what she built her empire on," Ayo said. "Pain." Adesina dropped into a chair, shaking. "All my life," she said. "She told me the world was cruel, and that only cruel people survived." Ayo crouched in front of her. "The world is cruel," he said gently. "But cruelty is a choice." Outside, a car engine started. Ayo's phone rang. He answered instantly. "Yes." A familiar voice replied. "We're bringing her now," the voice said. "But there's a problem." Ayo's chest tightened. "What problem?" "The files Mama Yemi hid. They're not where we expected. Some were moved weeks ago." Ayo closed his eyes. "Moved by who?" "That's what we're trying to find out." The call ended. Adesina looked up at him. "More people?" she asked softly. "Yes," Ayo said. "People who benefited from what your mother did." Fear filled her eyes. "Will they come after me?" Ayo paused. "Only if you remain silent." A knock came at the door. Ayo opened it. Two men stood outside. One was Baba Femi. The other was a stranger, tall, serious, wearing simple clothes, but with sharp eyes. "This is Mr. Lawal," Baba Femi said. A government investigator. The man nodded. Mr. Ayo, he said. We need to talk. They all sat. Mr. Lawal opened a folder. Mama Yemi is cooperating, he said. But not fully. Ayo scoffed. She never does anything fully. Mr. Lawal continued. She named other people, powerful people. Adesina stiffened. Names? She asked. Yes, Mr. Lawal said. And those people are already trying to clean their tracks. Ayo leaned forward. So the fight isn't over. Mr. Lawal shook his head. It has just begun. Baba Femi sighed deeply. This town has long memories, he said, and long grudges. Adesina looked at Ayo. What do I do? She asked. If I speak, they will hate me. If I stay quiet, I become like her. Ayo looked at her for a long moment. Truth is not easy, he said. But silence is worse. Before anyone could speak again, a car pulled into the compound. Ayo stood instantly. The door opened. An old woman stepped out slowly, supported by a female officer. Her hair was grey. Her face was lined with years of struggle. Her eyes searched the space nervously. Ayo's breath caught. Mama, he whispered. She looked up, and when she saw him, her knees weakened. My son, she cried. Ayo rushed forward and caught her. He held her tightly, like a child afraid to let go. They didn't hurt you? He asked urgently. She shook her head. They threatened me, she said. They said if you didn't stop, I would disappear. Ayo's jaw tightened. They underestimated you, he said. She smiled weakly. They underestimated you, she replied. Adesina stood frozen, watching the reunion. Then, slowly, she stepped forward. I'm sorry, she said softly. For everything. Ayo's mother looked at her. You are her daughter, she said. But you are not her actions. Adesina broke down crying. That moment was interrupted by a loud phone ring. Mr. Lawal answered his phone. His face changed. What? He said. When? He listened, then slowly lowered the phone. Mama Yemi has collapsed, he said. In custody. Silence filled the room. Adesina's heart pounded. Collapsed? She whispered. Is she? She is alive, Mr. Lawal said. But barely. Adesina sank into a chair. Ayo closed his eyes. Baba Femi shook his head. Even the strongest tree falls, he murmured. Mr. Lawal continued. But before she collapsed, she said something. Ayo looked up sharply. What? Mr. Lawal hesitated. She said, if anything happens to her, a document will surface. One that will destroy you. Ayo's pulse raced. What document? Mr. Lawal shook his head. She didn't say. Only that it was hidden and already activated. Adesina jumped up. Activated how? By time, Mr. Lawal said. If certain people are arrested, the document is released. Ayo stood slowly. So she planted a bomb, he said. One last trap. Mr. Lawal nodded. Yes. Adesina rushed to Ayo. What do we do? She asked desperately. Ayo looked at his mother, then at Baba Femi, then at Adesina. We finish this properly, he said. No shortcuts. Baba Femi sighed. Truth will cost you, the elder said. Are you ready? Ayo's eyes were steady. I have already paid, he said. Outside, thunder rolled faintly in the distance. The sky darkened slightly, even though it was still morning. Ayo's phone buzzed again. He checked the message. His face hardened. Adesina saw it and grabbed his arm. What is it? Ayo showed her the screen. The message read, the document has a date. Midnight. Adesina gasped. What happens at midnight? Ayo looked out toward the water, where dark clouds were gathering. At midnight, he said quietly, someone tells the final lie, or the final truth, and somewhere far away, in a hospital bed, Mama Yemi opened her eyes and smiled. Midnight came like a thief. Badagry slept, but Ayo did not. He stood in the small living room of the guest house, staring at the old wall clock. Every tick felt like a drumbeat inside his chest. On the table lay everything that mattered now, files, documents, a laptop, voice recorders, and the brown envelope he had first placed on the wedding table. Across the room, his mother sat quietly on a sofa, wrapped in a simple shawl. Her hands rested on her knees. She looked tired, but her eyes were alert. Adesina sat on the floor near the table, hugging her knees. She had not spoken for a long time. Baba Femi sat in a wooden chair, his walking stick between his palms, murmuring prayers under his breath. Mr. Lawal paced slowly, phone pressed to his ear, speaking in low, urgent tones. 5 minutes to midnight, he said at last, ending the call. Silence returned. Adesina broke it. What if the document destroys him? She asked, her voice shaking. What if my mother planned it to ruin everything? Io looked at her. Then we face it, he said. Just like everything else. She swallowed. All my life, she said, I thought my mother was powerful because she never lost. Ao shook his head. She never lost because no one challenged her, he replied. The clock struck 11:59. Ao's phone buzzed. Everyone froze. He picked it up slowly. A message appeared. Adesina gasped. Mr. Lawal swore under his breath. Baba Femi straightened. Truth has chosen its hour, the elder said. Ao did not panic. Instead, he reached for his laptop. Lawal, he said calmly, are the servers ready? Yes, Mr. Lawal replied. Everything you gave us is loaded. Io nodded. My father used to say something, he said quietly. If someone plans to drown you with lies, learn how to swim with truth. The clock ticked again. 12 a.m. Phones across the room began to buzz at the same time. News alerts, social media notifications, messages. Adesina covered her mouth. It's out, she whispered. Mr. Lawal checked his phone quickly. The document was released, he said. But, he paused. But what? Ao asked. It's not what we expected. Ao frowned. What do you mean? Mr. Lawal turned his phone around. On the screen was a scanned document with Mama Yemi's name boldly written at the top, but below it was a confession. Not an accusation against Io. A full confession from Mama Yemi herself. Adesina's eyes widened. She wrote this? Mr. Lawal nodded slowly. It appears she recorded it weeks ago, he said. A legal confession. Signed, dated, witnessed. Ao's heart pounded. Read it, he said. Mr. Lawal read aloud. I, Yemi Adebola, confess that I forged documents, seized land unlawfully, destroyed the reputation of Olamide Adeyemi, and caused his eventual death through stress, humiliation, and false charges. I did these things knowingly, without remorse at the time. Adesina broke down, sobbing. Oh God! Mr. Lawal continued. I believed money could erase consequences. I was wrong. If this document is released, let it be known that my actions were mine alone. My daughter, Adesina Adebola, had no knowledge of these crimes. Ao closed his eyes. The room was silent except for Adesina's quiet crying. Baba Femi spoke softly. She prepared her burial before she died. Ao's mother wiped her eyes. She finally spoke the truth, she said. Even if it was late. Mr. Lawal scrolled further. There's more, he said. He read again. To Io, son of Olamide. You planned better than I expected. I thought fear would stop you. It did not. I confess because I refuse to let others carry my sins. Justice must be complete. Adesina lifted her head slowly. She protected me? Io looked at her. She chose truth at the end, he said. That does not erase her crimes, but it explains her final move. Phones continued buzzing non-stop. Outside, car engines started. Distant voices. Sirens. Mr. Lawal smiled grimly. The public reaction is massive, he said. Other names she mentioned are already being investigated. Io exhaled slowly. It's over, Adesina whispered. Io shook his head gently. No, he said. It's finished. There was a difference. A knock came at the door. Mr. Lawal opened it. 2 officers stood there. Mama Yemi passed away 10 minutes ago, one of them said. Adesina let out a cry that came from deep inside her chest. She stood unsteady. My mother, she whispered. Ao did not move. Baba Femi bowed his head. Even the mighty answer to death, the elder said. Adesina sank to the floor, shaking. Ao walked to her slowly. He knelt in front of her. She was wrong, he said gently. But she was still your mother. Adesina nodded through tears. I don't know how to live now, she said. Everything I knew is gone. Ao looked at her carefully. Then you learn, he said. Like everyone else. Morning light slowly crept into the room. The night of lies had ended. The day of consequences had begun. Badagry looked different. Not because the streets changed, but because people were no longer afraid to speak. The stolen lands were returned. Families once silenced began to rebuild. Mama Yemi's empire collapsed piece by piece. Court cases continued. Names fell. Power shifted. In a modest compound near the lagoon, Ao stood beside his father's old land. A small wooden sign had been placed there. Olamide Yemi. Land restored. Ao's mother stood beside him, smiling quietly. You did well, she said. Ao shook his head. I only finished what he started. Behind them, Adesina approached slowly. She wore simple clothes. No makeup, no jewelry. She looked different. Calmer. I wanted to say goodbye, she said. To Badagry? Ao asked. To who I used to be, she replied. She took a breath. I'm going to work, she said. Not manage, not command. Work. Ao nodded. That's where change begins. She hesitated. And us? She asked softly. Ao looked at her honestly. Our marriage was built on lies, he said. It must end. She nodded, tears in her eyes, but no anger. I understand, she said. Thank you for not destroying me. Ao met her gaze. You destroyed nothing, he said. You survived. She turned and walked away. Ao watched her go. Baba Femi joined him. You brought justice with patience, the elder said. Ao smiled faintly. No, he replied. She bought a husband, and unknowingly bought her own end. The wind moved through the trees. The lagoon shimmered under the sun, and for the first time in many years, Ao felt free. What is your view about this story? Where are you watching from? Do well to let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more interesting stories. Stay blessed.